Let's do it!
I only need one hand for this.
Well, it's Naomi and her cleavage have been walking all over this hospital, so...
Everybody knows her cleavage by now. Oh, just Gabe being Gabe.
Oh my god, really?
Nothing weird to see here.
That was... the best thing ever.
That old geezer. Safe my ass.
Haha.
You look like you're having fun. Just what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh? Ah, Naomi. Perfect timing.
You seem relaxed. The quarantine's got everyone in a fit.
Yeah, I know. I just escaped from the middle of that mess.
And, you know, swung in like Tarzan.
Huh?
That was pretty cool.
What do you mean?
Well, let's talk inside. I can't let them find me here.
I'm back! Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everyone, I'm kinda back.
It's all good.
Unbelievable. And so you brought these bones
Ah,
with
of course.
Well, yeah. Can you reconstruct them?
It's what I do.
you? This is nonsense. How do you know this tells us anything?
I don't. But you'll do it, right?
I
Might be
don't know.
I just brought them because they were cool. I wanted a souvenir.
I can see arguing is a waste of time. Fine.
Why am I even
All
friends
right.
with you?
I'll reconstruct the body.
I mean, you sent me
You
a
take
bomb.
You sent me a bomb.
I can see why your
I mean, you
marriage didn't
lied
last
about
very
it.
long.
Oh! That was painful.
That was a thing. Oh! Cell
My
phone.
phone's ringing.
Cell phone of death. Hang on, my phone's ringing. I have to take this. Boy, that was creepy. Our first card.
Haha, time to collect cards again.
Haha! Is it time to
The
duel?
devil.
Duel. No.
Huh? What? Is that your voodoo hotline again?
Let's
Shut
get
up,
started
Gabe.
now. I'll take this room.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm counting on you, Doctor.
I'm not a... Oh, fine.
The devil, huh? What did you see?
I saw the devil. Thought that was clear.
Man, someone really fucked up those bones.
Alright.
There you are, Dr. Kimishima.
Hey!
Little guy, why are you still working?
Well, well. What are you doing in a place like this?
Don't be that way. I could be pretty useful.
You're never useful.
No, I don't know.
I'm sure you could, if you told me what the government
I'm
knows.
sure you could be useful.
I don't really know anything. The army's on the move, though.
Fine, whatever. You can at least help me with this.
Yes, of course. That's why I came.
There's no telling who these things belong to.
Right. Say, who was here a moment ago? Friendly guy.
An old friend. Jealous?
No, that's not what I meant.
So yes.
I'm joking, little guy.
Oh.
Our goal is to determine who this person is. Sex, race, age, and the time and cause of death.
That's going to be difficult with no additional info.
I'm well aware of that. Still, we'll have to do our best. First, we'll have to reconstruct the skull. It's not very likely to help us determine the cause of death.
But doctor, the pieces may be contaminated. Use protective gear. I'll get you a sterilized suit and a mask.
Yes, thank you. A skeleton kept hidden in the bowels of Yosemite. Who are you? Where'd you come from? Let's begin. Show me how your light flickered out.
We know not a goddamn thing.
So let's do it.
I am lounging as hard as I can during this.
Yep, me too. We're so chill right now. Let's do a puzzle.
I remember this puzzle being pretty fucking ridiculous.
Nope. Nope. I mean, you know. This is kind of nothing compared to the puzzle we actually did IRL.
There's nothing yet.
Well, it's like 999 pieces of, you know, rocks and ocean, sky, and a lighthouse. It's just like, mother.
You seem to have a problem with this lighthouse of yours. Maybe you shouldn't have built it.
You're funny, sir. Maybe you should use that
I have an
piece.
excuse.
Maybe you
I'm a
should use
doctor.
that piece in the top left. In that little...
Fuck, I don't even want to mess with this piece.
Use that piece in the top left, and that piece in the... With that gap in the
this?
top right, yeah. Rotate it.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm a doctor.
No. It's really hard to twist these.
Good. Awesome. You're doing great.
Rock solid.
Trying to be the supportive one.
I don't think this piece belongs anywhere.
Alright, then fill in the other pieces. Fill in,
I actually,
fill in the other
I'm having trouble seeing too.
It goes up over there.
I don't care.
It doesn't dig. There we go, we're good on that one now. Because that's like the job.
I'm glad they gave me these little bits here to guide me.
Otherwise we would never fucking been done.
I'd have been like, Gabe, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's not gonna fit.
No. Okay. Maybe I can see better if I fucking see that.
Oh god, puzzles. But I thought you were a doctor. Don't get puzzles wrong.
Because I'm a doctor, not a puzzle solver.
Can't you be a
Damn it,
doctor
Jim.
puzzle solver?
I'm a puzzle solver in the metaphorical sense. Okay. That's not where I was aiming for, but I'll take it.
We're almost done.
We're only halfway there.
I literally closed my eyes and almost fell asleep, so... I've been done, so...
I can't blame you.
I mean, I love forensics, but... Oh my god.
It's not it.
Alright, I'm totally awake. Totally awake. How fair is it?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Ah, okay.
And by that, I mean I'll be done like probably in the next 20 minutes. You go there. It'd be easier if these little arrows would disappear.
Are we done?
Ah, one last part. Fuck.
I don't know what's happening anymore because I keep like half falling asleep and I keep waking up and there's the same music and you just twirling around a skull on the screen.
It'll get there eventually. Eventually. I want to be done with this so bad.
Oh god. Can't, I'm like literally falling asleep right here. I feel like we should just finish this up and get to the safe one, but it's just like, nope. Oh god, we're done.
Stupid
All the
skull.
fragments that were given to me have been placed. Does this mean there's a missing piece of bone? In any case, the skull can't be fully put together in this state. Unless the missing section is found, there's nothing more that can be done to this skull.
I'm sure that one little piece of chin is gonna mean all the world there.
Probably, yeah.
This. It's a If it was caused by physical that would be... Yes. Either there's a reason why, or this blood didn't come from this person. Is this a syringe? If this skeleton belonged to someone with a criminal history, whoever this is might be kept in the FBI's criminal database. If I ask Little Guy about this...
I'm sorry that there's no commentary, but it's just so boring.
Yep. You're missing something.
I mean, I love forensics, but Jesus.
I mean, when you have nothing to go on.
Is this
Also, it's kind of like
a key?
5 in the morning, so.
Maybe Little Guy will be able to find out something about it.
Is that patient zero's close?
Yeah, I wish.
Little Guy? I need you to analyze something.
Yes, of course.
I don't think this one was that
What's
long,
this?
though.
I found this in the deceased's personal
Considering I'm
archives.
not allowed to
I get
go
the feeling
anywhere,
that it may be
and I only have
drugs.
so much I can go on.
I see.
Yeah.
So you want me to run this through our criminal database?
You're good at picking up on these things.
This is the kind of thing that we do at the FBI, after all. I'll look into what's in these ampules and see if the syringe has been used. It's going to take a while, so you'll have to give me time.
Of course. I'll keep...
It always takes a while.
Hey, Little Guy. Can you tell me what this key is for?
A key. This is a very unique key. It involves magnetism.
Magnets? What could a key like that be used for?
Probably a safe or something else high speed.
I see.
I can look into it, but
What's wrong?
we don't have a clue where this key came from. It'll take a long time to find out any specifics about where this key goes.
That's fine. It's still better than me trying to find this out by myself, right?
Well, we are a nationwide organization.
I'll let you handle this then.
I wonder how he got the key.
That's a good question.
The missing area of skull is the section from the mental Chloe had swallowed pieces of human bone.
Are we gonna match up the bone? Chloe, you bad cat.
Don't make me get up to do this again. There. Stupid skull.
After Chloe swallowed the bone fragments, the mysterious... There's something in this bone.
Oh, Dr. Kimishima, that man came by a moment ago.
That man?
The, friendly guy. He
Friendly
said something
guy.
about having finished reconstructing the body.
Ah, you mean Gabe. All right, now we...
I've gone ahead and put the skull with the rest of the skeleton.
Good, you're on top of things. Can you...
Oh, right. There wasn't much to get from the body, though. The person was roughly 185 centimeters tall. A histologic examination of the bone detected 15 types of amino acids remaining. There was also a very high concentration of nitrogen. I've sent the results of the analysis to your computer. Please check it out when you need to.
Good, I'll look into it. It's
His leg is missing.
It's hard to think that an external force could cause this kind of effect. This. But why? In the human skeleton...
The taste was bone.
Yes. It was the same in the case when that girl Veronica was thrown off the bridge. But the femur is the strongest among all the bones in the human... What could have broken? It's hard to think that an
Oh, there.
What's this? These scratches... Looks like I need to look into what caused this death. Little guy, I need...
Right away.
What's the matter?
Nothing. A bone abrasion caused this damage.
Bone abrasion?
Normally, wherever bones meet, there's a layer of fibrocartilage. In this case, the knee. That pad is known as the meniscus. That prevents damage like this from occurring in most people's bodies. The signs of wear I see here are consistent with the bones grinding together.
So these abrasions...
Animals gnawing on it.
Indeed. This would mean that the meniscus was lost while the person was still alive and... But... Hey, little guy?
Yes, of course.
How does it look?
Huh. Yes, there's no discoloration on the bone tissue in the area that it...
I see. Does this mean that what...
That's right. I don't think it could have happened. From looking at the damaged area, it seems the bone had been shaved away using a tool, like a router.
A router? The only... There's a good chance they shaved a sample from the bone in order to study it.
Yes, you need small fragments for the high-detail analysis. That's likely what happened to this bone.
Wait.
What's wrong?
The researcher at USAMRIID was infected while he was studying this bone. Using a router on the bone would cause particles of pulverized bone to be ejected in the air. If the researcher came down with the disease after
Maybe you should have put on a goddamn mask.
Little guy,
Yes, of course.
I want your opinion on this fractured femur.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, this bone is hollow on the inside. I'm not surprised it broke.
did this fracture occur while the person was still alive?
I can't say about the fracture, but the loss of...
It seems safe to assume that the fracture was caused by the decrease in... abnormal decrease in bone. What we can deduce from...
I don't know what I was doing there.
Yes. Both these conditions indicate a... Furthermore, I believe that both these processes happened while the person was still alive. If these conditions allow us to it would be that this person was severely debilitated by the time of death. Little guy,
Of course.
right. I need you to check the skeleton's DNA and see if that blood came from the same person.
No problem.
Do you have the results yet?
Hey, don't rush me, please. The results just came in. It seems that the DNA matches. The blood's from the same person.
Huh, I see. If that's the case, what kind of hemorrhaging is it? If this hemorrhaging wasn't caused by physical trauma, then... Hey, little guy, could you analyze?
Sure. Haven't I already analyzed this for you, Dr. Kimishima?
Yes, but I want to know more details.
I want more.
Like what?
We know now that the bloodstain comes from the same person as these bones, but there was no obvious damage to the deceased's clothing. Can you investigate in detail into what kind of hemorrhaging would have caused that bloodstain?
I see. All right.
Of course.
Dr. Kimishima, the analysis of the syringe is complete.
The syringe.
Oh, yes. It's interferon, acyclovir, ribavirin, lamivudine.
Slow down a second.
It's the medicines that were confirmed to be in the syringe and the ampules.
All that was in there?
Seriously, I don't understand. Every antiviral drug on record is in this list.
Antiviral drug.
There was even an ampule of Ashvins in there, too.
Ashvins?
It's a medicine that hasn't been fully authorized by the FDA. It's an excellent antiviral drug, but there were some problems with side effects.
Huh. Just what?
Okay, let's see. It draws on the patient's calcium to suppress viral activities. If used in excess, the subject will become calcium deficient. The body then draws calcium from the bones and leads to loss.
A drug that robs calcium from the bones.
Well, that isn't its purpose, of course, but
I see. Something Bob. The deceased had a large amount of antiviral drugs in his possession, along with a dangerous, unapproved drug that caused calcium deficiency in the human body. Yes, it seems that these can be used together. The large amounts of antiviral drugs found in the corpse's and an ampule of Ashvins, a dangerous... The reason that Ashvins was never approved was because...
Uncontrollable crying. Wah.
Indeed,
Wah.
Ashvins consumes large amounts of
much.
calcium from the human body. A 50-kilogram person's body contains roughly
feel more
1
awake
kilogram
now,
of
so.
calcium. 99% of that is in the bones and teeth. In other words, the side effect of the Ashvins drugs is...
Yeah, bones.
Yes.
Zombies.
What
Pretty
first
much.
comes to mind would be an abnormal
Where?
decrease in bone density. Considering the information that's been gathered so far, this person likely administered the Ashvins drug to...
Random strangers.
Yes, themselves.
I have some Ashvins for you.
Just run up and, stick someone with the syringe.
Stab someone with a syringe.
It's perfectly
The
good.
first piece of evidence supporting the complete fracturing of the femur. Continuing on, the second...
glad you're answering all these because I was
Yes,
absent for half
the
of
loss
this.
of the meniscus in the left knee. Thus, we can deduce that the person's weakened skeletal system was due to the side effects of the Ashvin's drug. I have a bad feeling about this.
Good, because I have no feelings.
I need this bone analyzed, little guy.
Whoa, can you warn me a little sooner next time?
Did
I
you
was
rub it
already
all over
looking
your
at it and
face?
everything. I thought it was all tasty.
Give me a
Did you
moment,
rub
please.
it all over your face? Did you
Rubbing
lick
it all over my body.
Well, did you find anything?
No?
Is that so?
What's so odd about...
This is the bone that Chloe swallowed. When she did, the same black focus that the patients in the quarantine zone had showed up in... According to what Gabe said, the serviceman who had been investigating this bone... So, in other words, the pathogen lurking in this bone...
Pure evil.
Right. This bone carries a virus that triggers the hemorrhagic fever.
A virus? This is just a skeleton. A virus requires living cells from its host in order to multiply.
Apparently not.
So, this virus not only survives the host's death, but can continue within a skeletonized corpse.
Can you really say that such a thing is impossible?
But
That's
Yeah,
not
we just
like you.
excised bone
Calm
tumors
down, little guy.
a while ago.
Everything we've seen up until now has taught us something. That there are diseases out there in the world that defy all our understanding and what we think of as common sense.
all right, let's assume that it is a virus. That doesn't mean that all the mysteries have been solved. How does this virus live inside this skeleton? And why aren't we infected with the hemorrhagic fever after we've handled the bones?
I really can't say at this point. It's possible this person was infected with the virus, or perhaps the skeleton had been contaminated after death. In any case, we'll need to continue investigating this in more detail.
Right.
However, I can explain why you and I haven't contracted the hemorrhagic fever.
What?
Well, according to what Gabe was told by the assistant secretary... That's right. They concluded that an airborne infection was impossible. This was because the infection wasn't spreading within Usamrid. If that's the case, it's unlikely that the virus is dispersed through a respiratory vector.
Then how does it spread?
Well, in Chloe's case, the Indeed. The black foci only existed in areas that the bone fragments were in contact with. Taking that into consideration, this virus's route of infection is...
Eh?
Yes. In other words, the virus only has a limited means of transmission.
I see. That explains the cat's case, at least. But what about the Usamrid researcher? I highly doubt that he'd be chewing on bones.
Thank
Like
you.
you just were.
Good point. There must be an explanation for how that other serviceman was infected as
Did he
well.
stab himself with it?
That's right. Now we're starting to see how the serviceman at Usamrid was infected as well. The
We're not,
virus
actually.
rests within
I
that
know.
skeleton. The route of infection is...
Okay.
Psychic power.
Yes. It's when it comes in contact with a mucous membrane. Reaching a
Okay.
mucous membrane within the mouth or body causes the virus to infect that person. But there's no way that a researcher would lick or swallow a bone. However,
Yeah.
the
He's not a
Usamrid
little
staff
guy,
did
after
collect
all.
a bone sample for their... In order to obtain that sample, the researcher... Right. He used a router to shave away a portion of the bone. This is likely what caused the researcher to be infected. The reason for this is...
Fucking bone powder?
Yes,
Yep.
shaving bone with
Because
a
he
router
wasn't
causes
wearing a
particles of
goddamn
bone dust
mask.
to fly out into the air. It's likely that the researcher inhaled some of that powder while he was working. The powder then carried the infection and made contact with the mucous membranes. That is my hypothesis to explain the infection of the Usamrid researcher.
Sounds pretty good.
Yes, it seems that these can be combined. These bones passed on the viral hemorrhagic fever via contact with mucous membranes, and whoever this was, they had been taking large doses of antiviral drugs along with a dangerous unapproved one. It's likely that this...
A terrible doctor.
What?
That was
Okay.
careless.
Fine.
You should have gone with
Yes.
the terrible doctor.
This individual had been infected with some kind of virus. That virus itself...
If that's the case, then the cause of death was...
I should stop making conjectures. I need some hard evidence to back these theories up. Hemorrhagic fever causes hemorrhaging from all over the body. If we could find traces of that disease...
hemorrhaging from all over.
Do you think it could be, you know, the blood all over his fucking
Is
clothes?
something wrong?
Oh, well, we just received the results from the analysis.
Of course you did.
It says that the blood stain on the person's clothing contained traces of saliva.
Saliva? Yes, it came through the mouth. That would explain why there were no signs of damage to the person's clothing. The blood stain on the clothing was due to the person vomiting blood.
Yeah.
The viral hemorrhagic fever causes bleeding from all over, both
Okay.
internally and externally. Vomiting blood is one of the signs of this disease as well.
Yay.
This person died of viral hemorrhagic fever. The
Yeah.
evidence that I'm drawing that conclusion from is...
Sure.
That's right.
That was
I'm
smart.
starting
If
to.
this
I'm
person was
starting
still
to
alive after having
lose
had
track
an
of what I'm
attack of
doing here.
vomiting
Actually,
blood. I highly doubt that they'd go
Yeah, I
on
went
without
away
doing
for,
something
like,
about the bloody clothes.
10 minutes.
Thus, the traces of vomited blood on the clothing indicates that this person died soon after this attack.
yay! Solid evidence.
Yeah.
Rock solid
We
evidence.
finally figured out the cause of death.
Yes, long before the pandemic
Drugs.
that is currently raging broke out, this person caught and died of the viral hemorrhagic fever that caused this quarantine. Who in the world are you?
Dr. Kimishima, if I may,
Go on.
I've noticed something.
I'm all ears.
Well, this antiviral reagent, Ashvin's, it was rejected by the FDA for its dangerous side effects. That, along with the large amount of antiviral drugs, these things aren't available to the general public.
You have a point. Someone who would have access to these things. Indeed. It would be someone who has the knowledge of these new drugs. It would also be someone who has the authority to obtain such information from the medical community.
That's what I think. Does that help a little?
It's fantastic. How can we identify this individual, little guy?
But all we have is the skeleton.
That shouldn't be a problem. If this person is in the health profession, then the FBI database should... By studying the bones, we can narrow down just who this person was.
Why'd you ask
The
me if you
FBI
already knew
has
the
a
answer to your own
file on
question?
everyone.
Pretty
We don't
sure
have
that
time
they
for
do.
complaining. Look up details about skeletons in our forensics database. Send what you find over to...
Yikes. Give me a moment.
No.
There, I found them.
Now it's time for the grand reveal. Let's compare the skeleton's characteristics with our information. Then we can confirm just... "15 types of amino acids were detected. There was a very high concentration of nitrogen as well. If I compare this information with... That's right. We can assume that this person died... Someone had this disease 2 years ago? This fact alone won't get us anywhere. There's no damage to the pelvis. We can determine. The skull had... Is there any... The cranial sutures have begun to fuse, but they aren't... This is what's causing the cranial sutures to resemble broken line. I recall that the...
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to.
An individual's gender can be according to the materials at hand. This
Both. Neither. He's an alien.
Yes. The pelvis is heart-shaped. Thus, we can deduce that this skeleton is male. The German physician Blumenbach established a distinction of 5 major branches of human anatomy. One point mentioned in determining a person's race by skeletal features, comparing this with the materials at hand. Indeed, this skull has the characteristics of a Caucasian. That's right. A person's... The cranial sutures here have partially... Yes, the fusing is consistent with that of a person in their 50s. In other words, it means that this person was around 50 years old at the time of death. A Caucasian male in his 50s who died 2 years ago and
It's a
was
lot of
familiar
doctors,
with
I'd
violence.
assume.
All the information we need has been gathered. Now we'll be able to figure out whose remains these We couldn't identify this body after all. But there is an important fact that I understand now. First, let's sort out what we do now. We'll talk later. First is the time since death. The card with that is... Yes. The nitrogen and amino acids in the bones prove that. Remember, the body's soft tissue was gone before it was found. This suggests that the body wasn't underwater or buried. Next, I have the card stating the gender of the body.
This is what I imagine forensics works actually is like.
Oh my god.
Not just solving the mystery.
Correct. The shape of the pelvis, the face, and bones prove that. However, he had a thin build. He could hardly be muscular. Next, the age. This card tells our findings. Yes, the cranial sutures have fused with age. This proves that this person was at least in his 50s. It's possible to determine his race as well. This card shows my conclusion based on the evidence. Racial differences are mainly exhibited in skull shape. The eye sockets, cheekbones, nose ridge, it's clear. Our next clue is his occupation. Now, this is only speculation. But I believe this card shows what he did for a living. Yes, if the items belong to him, he was in medicine. In addition, it's likely that he worked in pathology. Now then, what was the cause of his untimely demise? This card shows that reason.
Yes.
A virus living within a corpse long after the host dies. I don't want to believe it, but bones don't lie. The virus passes into the mucous membranes on contact. He died like the man Gabe diagnosed, hemorrhagic fever. He understood what was happening. He knew why he died. He knew, and it shows in the last words he had to say.
My son, forgive me. I was enticed by the devil.
That is the truth, illuminated by the light of this life. With this in mind, I can use the data to find an individual. He's...
He's a cliffhanger.
Hey! Hey, you listening? Where are you going?
Just be quiet and follow me. We need to talk to the chief.
Chief, I'd like to speak with you.
What did you say?
It may be hard to believe, but listen to me, please. The bones Gabe came here with contained the infectious virus. But since the infection is not carried by air, the chances of these bones being a source of pandemic is low. However, they may still be a clue to finding a solution.
I can't believe the two of you could find out so much.
No, this is just a coincidence. Still, Dr. Tachibana should be done with a biopsy on the same virus.
Vector of infection's unknown, but we've ID'd it. You think we'll make it in time?
It's near hopeless. The disease advances too rapidly. The infected will all die before we finish the DNA analysis.
Damn it. Isn't there any other lead we can follow?
This isn't a clue, but I have one more thing I must report.
You must report?
I compared the reconstructed bones to our database. Only one person was a match for the data we had.
Who is it?
Him?
Yes, Albert Sard, a professor of virology, who vanished after the Cumberland College incident.
Da-da.
Jesus.
Yeah.
One room here, but I have it. Yeah, he sucks.
Alright. That's enough for today. Tonight. Whatever. We've got
We've got so much
6
left to
more
do.
missions to do.
Oh god.
So, that's it for today.
Good night.
Good night.